What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Kart 63. I am Ben, the owner and host of this here YouTube channel. Hey, I have a new addition to the channel. You check this out, a dry erase board. So now I thought it would be a visual aid if I'm doing anything that, I might want to write down or reference or anything like that. I thought it would be a nice addition to it. Yes, I sprung for the whopping $25. I know I'm getting bougie, but what it does really point out is the fact that my handwriting's horrible. So what we're talking about today is it's actually a idea that came from a viewer in some community post, I guess. And at any time, if anybody wants to suggest a video idea, have at. I'm open the comments, the community tab, whatever you see fit to get that message out to me. Something for me to consider, and I'll put it up in my head and consider doing that video. But I have a list on my phone of what kind of videos I want to do. I thought, you know what, that is a good one. So they wanted to know how to grow and shrink tires. What was the method that I go about doing so? Now, I'm not actually going to do it. If it was summer and I needed to, I probably would do that. But being there's snow on the ground, it's cold out here, and I don't want to be out here any longer than I actually have to. So I'm going to get some a tire and supplies around here. I'm going to explain the process, and maybe I'll doodle a little more up on the dry erase board. I don't know. It's not like you can read it or anything. So it was a good idea that kind of has a fault. So, all right, guys. I will see you in a moment, and we'll go over how to do that. Okay, I have some more doodles on the board. I got a couple tires as reference point, and we're going to discuss how to grow and shrink tires. Now, I picked Burris because, in my opinion, I love Burris to death. They work great on the types of tracks they work on, but they do tend to have an issue keeping size. Usually, it's the right size shrinking on me. You like to keep your tire set at a 34 inch, a 34 and a quarter, an eighth, right around that area. And usually a Burris 800 ends up somewhere. I think I even have it. No, this one's blown up. I did expand this one. But sometimes you end up with like a 33 and a half. And it just makes for making stagger a nightmare. I hate when that happens. So I'm going to tell you how to correct that. Now, there are multiple ways to do this. I am not the end-all, be-all of how to heat your tires. I happen to have a hot box. And if you reference my video on homemade tire roller, I show you the way that you can heat a tire on a regular roller with some floodlights. That will work. I happen to like to set my hot box at 125 degrees. Don't ask me why. It's a temp I picked. It's a temp that I like, and it's always worked for me. Is there any science behind it? No. It's just I happened to pick that temperature one day. It seems to work every time I use it, so I just keep on using that. So no big deal. Now, what I find is what you're going to want to do is you're going to add air till you get to a quarter to 3/8 bigger than what you want. Now, I don't know what PSI is that. Boy, I can't speak today. That is, but I put the tape measure around. I measure the diameter. Okay, it's 33 3/4. I need it to be 34. So I'm going to increase the air pressure till I see 34 1/4. So a 1/4 inch over what I did. I'm going to put it in the hot box, and I'm going to leave it in there for a good, 25 minutes. And you can kind of judge. You can reach in there. You can feel how hot your tires got. And once they kind of steam or they look like they're hot enough to touch, that's the perfect time. Now, what you're going to want to do, this is the trick to all this. Now, you can inflate a tire at the track, put it on top of your trailer, get it to grow. It will stay there for a little bit. Is it going to stay there? Probably not. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shock the tire. That happens, or it helps a lot. Does it always lock them in exactly where you want them? No, it doesn't. I've expanded them, to the point where I need them. And then throughout the race season, whether it be chemicals or just naturally sitting around losing air, they tend to shrink up again a little bit. But what it's going to do is it's going to give you a fighting chance in locking that tread diameter to where you want it to be. So basically, you're going to get a tote, and you're going to fill up with cold water, whether it be from the from the garden hose or wherever you're getting your water. A really good idea is to go down to the store, or if you have the means of making ice, buy a big bag of ice. You dump that ice in the tote, and then you get your tire 125 degrees, get it good and hot, take it directly from the hot box and dunk it and hold it in that water and wait until at least the rim feels cool to touch. So that means the tire, the rim, everything is, most of the heat is gone, and that's going to help lock that tread into place. It's worked for me for years. So there is some fine tuning to it. You may want to adjust, what temperature you're doing, how long you're holding it down, etc. There's lots of ins and outs to how to do this, but I'm saying that the best way to get the best results is to shock it, in my opinion. Now, on the other side, this is, you're rarely going to want to shrink an outside tire. At least I don't think I've ever shrunk a right side tire. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shrink an inside tire. Either your 5.5 on Burris, your 6.0, 4.5 left front on Maxxis and Vaga and stuff. You're going to want to shrink these in order to get your 1.5" front stagger, inch rear stagger, whatever you're looking for on your chassis. Now, it's a slightly different process, similar, in my opinion. What you do need to do is get a valve core tool. So if you've never seen one of these, ever dealt with one of these, so what they look like. I've had this one for a very long time. Matter of fact, I think this may have been from my grandfather's shop way back in the day that I still have. Still works today. Nothing complicated about it, but you can get these at Walmart, Napa, etc. You're going to want to remove the valve stem and let all the air out. Now, in the process of heating, I don't like to leave out the valve stem. I like to just let the air out, put the valve stem back in, let it rotate for 10 minutes or so. The air inside the tire is going to expand again, so there's going to be more air in it. What I do is either get a air pressure gauge and let the rest of the air off, or I take the valve stem out again and remove the air. Just keep on doing that till there's no air. The reason I don't like leaving the valve stem out is you want on a tire roller for it to maintain its roundness. You don't want it completely deflating, so it's kind of lumping in there or, bogs down and then, cooks on one side. You don't need that to happen. So I always put the valve stem back in just to make sure that it's going to work well. Now, there's two ways to do it when you're coming to the shock treatment. Now, you can just leave the valve stem in, and you're gonna dunk it in the water same way as when you were shocking the increase in stagger, and it's going to suck all of the tread in. It's going to be weird. It's going to get big divots in it, but that's it. Just the hot rubber hitting that ice cold water is going to suck in the whole tire. Another way to do it, and this is a little more complicated, but if you really need to get it smaller, you can take out the valve stem. So you remove that, and this is the hose that I use for putting prep in my tires. You're going to go ahead and attach that on there. Now, you don't want water inside your tire, so you're going to hold this above water, dunk it in, and then that will allow all the air to escape out the valve stem and, not get any water inside your tire. It's a little more tricky. It is definitely more dangerous because you don't want water sloshing around in your tires. That is a bad time, I'm sure. I don't even know what that would do for handling, but I wouldn't want to deal with it. So when you're first doing it, I don't recommend the hose aspect. When shocking the tire, it's a bad idea. Have I done it? Yes, I have. Have I really needed to do it? Not really. I've never needed, the tire to get just that much smaller. If either growing or shrinking didn't work that round, do it again. Put air back in the tire, and try again. Now, I also want to add that you heat it up. You shock the tire. The tire is going to need a little bit of time to reset, to come to room temperature. So when you shock the tire, say in an instance of growing it, I like to leave the air in it. So you've cooled down the tread, you've cooled down the rim, but it hasn't really come to room temperature per se. You're gonna be able to feel a little bit of heat. This is metal, it's aluminum, so it's gonna take a little bit of time to dissipate that heat. I just like to leave this to the side, walk away, come back to it. Once it's normalized, drop the pressure back down to 5-7 pounds, whatever you're running for pressure. Walk away again. And give it a little bit of time to kind of normalize. So it's the shock treatment's gonna happen. It's gonna settle down a little bit. It's gonna come in, and then it should stay closer to where you want it to be. And the same with the inside tire. You can go ahead and inflate it to whatever pressure you want after you shocked it, but I would let the tire normalize to room temperature, to outside temperature, wherever you're doing this, and then check your diameter with your tire stagger tape. So a lot of gibberish I just laid on you there. And I'm sorry for that. But if anybody has any questions, I may do a follow-up video of this. When it comes summertime, I'll actually show the act of doing it. I wanted to do that, but honestly, it's like 15 degrees here in New York, and I don't want to be out here any longer than I have to be. So I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna go inside and get warm. It's a Sunday. I want to sit down. I think maybe football's coming on. Supercross was on last night. It was super enjoyable. I don't know how many of my viewers here actually watch motocross. I mean, I've never ridden, but a racer's a racer, man. I love Supercross, and ball sports are great. Football, I don't mind watching it. Good stuff. But as soon as racing kicked off, whether it be on a bike or on track, NASCAR or whatever it is, I'm a racer at heart. That's what I love to watch, and it takes precedence over it every single time. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I do appreciate every one of your supports, your likes, your follows, everything that you're doing for this channel. If you didn't mind, hit a like button, subscribe to the channel. If you got nothing better to do, I'd appreciate it for one. So, all right. I rambled on enough. I hope you enjoyed my Vanna White-esque board here, and I hope to use this in. It's magnetic. I think I can do something with red draw track on it. Something. I think I can utilize this thing a little better than me just scribbling notes on it. So, all right, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.